how the heck do we start this?
Welcome,
ladies and gentlemen, to
the HoloLive tradition can't die.
It cannot die.
We have to
Welcome.
open with a HoloLive
Please say
bag
no.
every week. Every week we gotta open with one of those.
Welcome to another episode of Talk the Plank, and this is a very special episode because now, for the first time ever, my two co-hosts can see how I gesticulate at the beginning of the podcast and make a fool out of myself.
You are really just moving.
Yes!
This one's going out to third tier members only, so make sure you subscribe to our Patreon. That you are sending us $500 monthly. Otherwise,
And that's the third tier, by the way.
Yes.
Platinum is $10,000.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we will meet you in person and
Yes.
give you a kiss.
And take care.
And then the what is it? What's above platinum? I forget that one. Diamond brand. The diamond brand.
Yeah.
That's what the Disney Vault goes to. Diamond. It's
Yeah.
platinum to diamond. The diamond one. You come to us and you have to pay us in gold and signed copies of our favorite things.
That's right. It's worth it. Believe you me. It'll be worth it. You will have to pay a lot more money to come to us, but it's worth it. Don't worry.
Listen, you will find out what you get in the diamond level when you pay. You have to pay before we can tell you.
When the money is deposited into our accounts, then we tell you.
Yes.
That's right. Yes.
Yes. Well, no, not then.
And
You give us the
once it's deposited, and
once
then
it's
we withdraw it.
We withdraw it. You give us the gold and the signed copies.
Yep.
We take those. We send you out onto a deserted island, and we are sailing away. And we shout back at you what it is.
Yep. Yeah. And then you have to live on the island for the rest of your life.
Yes.
But it'll be totally worth it. It's basically a free vacation for the rest of your life. You are very welcome,
Yeah.
by the way.
Everyone loves tropical islands, especially ones that are out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's my favorite.
No more spam calls.
Exactly.
It's like Solo Survivor.
You can forget all of politics because it doesn't matter anymore.
You're on an island. You're all alone. You're your own government.
Yes. If you want to make a communist utopia, you can because you're the only person. So it works.
You can just give everything back to yourself.
They will have to worry about the crab politics. They will have to worry about the crab
You
politics.
can't forget
Those
about
are
that.
pretty messy.
Can't forget
Those
about
do
that.
get pretty messy.
Oh, and don't forget when the crab people come at night.
That is,
Yes.
That is a concern.
And then you might discover that you accidentally wound up in the world of The Witcher, and then there's other monsters, and you gotta
hope
hope you have
access to that world, but okay.
well, portals.
Yeah. True.
Portals.
There are portals everywhere.
As I've learned from reading all of the Witcher books and starting the Witcher games, portals are
Yeah.
Geralt hates portals, and I know why.
Is that a thing? Is that canonical? Does he hate portals?
Yes, he hates portals. He shows up in the Soul Calibur universe, and he's like, "Dang it, I hate portals."
That's so
beautiful.
God,
That's
so
great, and it could basically be canon.
Yeah.
And hey, maybe Ciri will show up in Cyberpunk 2077, now coming out in December.
Yes.
Eventually, maybe.
Maybe.
I know we've had delay, but what about a second delay?
Yes. You just imagine Iwata. Please understand. Yes, this is
game.
if you haven't figured it out, this is the first in-person
Yes.
Talk the Plank
All three of
podcast.
us are sitting in a professional recording studio right now in the heart of Los Angeles.
Yes.
This is where all of the Hollywood voice actors go. DreamWorks, Disney records here. It's pretty high profile.
As you hear Mitchell creaking in the background.
Yep. Sorry.
Only the best.
I'm trying to pet the cat. I'm distracted right now.
Oh, yeah.
It spared no expense.
The goodest girl is here with us.
Yes. Well, until she starts running around and biting the cords.
That probably will happen.
Yes.
As is a cat is wont to do.
Well, yes. This is known. It is known, Khaleesi.
Alrighty, so we want
just a timely Game of Thrones reference for you there.
Very timely.
Right over my head.
Yes. Awesome. Well, now that we are here in person, I can actually turn to my friend Aaron and say, "Hey,
Hello,
Aaron."
my friend Zachary.
Yes. What has been going on in your week?
Not a whole lot. I'll tell you what.
Awesome.
When was the last time we recorded? What was it? 2-3 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago? A little more than 2 weeks ago.
I'm so sorry.
Oh no.
God, what even have I done in the last 2-3 weeks? I have watched more HoloLive, so that's definitely a thing. That's something I am always doing. In terms of games, I'm trying to think, what have I been... Did I mention that I was playing Metal Slug last time? I think I brought it up.
Yes.
I played through Metal Slug 3. Okay. What I did was... So I played the first Metal Slug because I got the Metal Slug collection like a bazillion years ago on Steam. So I played the first... And include Metal Slug 1, Metal Slug 3, Metal Slug X, which is the remake of 2. So I played Metal Slug 1, and I decided I'm going to play through it with no credits, or with infinite credits or whatever, and have a blast. So I did that, and then when I got to 3, I was like, you know what, that was too easy. I'm going to try beating the game on 10 credits only. And I think I mentioned last time that I was treating it like a roguelike. And so every single day I woke up and I grinded Metal Slug 3 in an attempt to beat it with only 10 credits. That is 30 lives. Until I eventually gave up like a few days later because I just couldn't do it. It's impossible. I couldn't do it.
It's quarter muncher.
Those games are designed to murder you as often as possible.
You naively thought that you could get through that game on $2.50.
I optimized all of my paths as much as I possibly could, did everything right, and still I couldn't make it through. So I just gave up on that, switched it to 20 lives, or 20 credits, beat it on that. Then I beat Metal Slug X on 20 credits because, of course,
at that point,
I gave up. I couldn't do it anymore, man. I was losing my mind. But anyway, I played that. I definitely did play 2 other things. What did I play? I played the Doom Eternal DLC.
Oh yes, that came out.
So good. Oh man, it's just they dialed it up to 11 in this DLC. Is like, if the base game was difficult enough as it was, because it's like. The first game was basically just like I was going to say Metroidvania, but it's not even Metroidvania. It was like classic Doom.
Yes.
This Doom Eternal is like the way somebody described was like it's like a third-person action game where instead of a combo meter, you have your weapon wheel, and you have to constantly switch between those to keep the imaginary combo meter up, right? So the base game is absolutely nutty. You're constantly switching weapons, jumping between enemies and stuff. The DLC... Oh my god. They throw like 10 times the amount of enemies at you in like half of the area. They add in a bunch of new enemies, all of which are just absolutely brutal. There's this one called the Spirit, which just possesses base demons, which makes them shoot faster, run faster, do more damage, and have like 10 times the amount of base health. So you have to kill the base demon and then zap them with one of your weapon's special attachments. And if you fail to do that in time, they jump into the most powerful demon they can find, and you have to kill them all over again and restart the whole fight. It's
wonderful.
And then the final boss is just nutty. Like the first, it's a 3-phase fight. The first 2 phases are super easy. The third phase, you have to kill 2 of those spirit possessed guys while dodging the boss's attacks, while lasers shoot through you all throughout the arena. And there's another new type of enemy which is completely shielded unless they do attacks that can basically insta-kill you. So you have to shoot them before they can hit you with the insta-kill attacks. And you can only shoot them in the head to kill them. So it's... Oh my god, it's at another level. It really is. The Doom Eternal DLC is nuts. But after throwing about 5 billion lives, or in other words, like 3... like a solid 3 Metal Slug 3 runs at it. I beat it finally, and it's a great ending. Cliffhanger. I think I'm really excited for part 2 because this DLC was only the first part of the 2-part DLC. Once I beat that, I decided to play the new Amnesia Rebirth.
Oh yeah?
Oh, boy.
Yes, that game. I really like it. I think I know there were a whole lot of mixed reviews on it. I really enjoyed it. I don't think it's anywhere near as good as the first one, obviously. But I think I really like it. I think as other people have noted, that their game design ethos is maybe beginning to lose prominence, quality, shall we say, excitement, even if one were to be so brave.
It is unfortunate that their best game is Amnesia: The Dark Descent. Because between Amnesia and Soma, if you only play one, you should play Soma because the story and the themes are phenomenal, and it's it's like
So
the technological nightmare future.
Yeah,
that everyone is terrified of.
I love Soma so much.
But Amnesia's a better game.
Definitely from gameplay.
And then it seems like this is even worse than Soma.
Yeah. So I think the again the voice acting, the audio design, best parts of the game. Like, oh my god, they killed it. All the voice acting is so good, and like all of the messages you pick up or like the flashbacks you see, and I really like all the ideas they put in, because they basically just give like the backstory for everything that happens in Amnesia, because this takes place like a century after Amnesia.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it takes place in the 1930s. You play as a young woman who basically is your plane crash lands in the desert. You wake up in it like a week after the crash, and you have no idea what's going on, and so you have to basically, and you have amnesia, so you have to piece together basically everything that happened in like the last week, and it's really cool. It's narrative wise, it's such a cool, like, I do think still the first Amnesia probably did it better, but all in all, I think it's still a really cool journey.
It's still better than A Machine for Pigs.
It's still so much better than A Machine for Pigs. Oh my god. But yeah, no, it's really cool. I really like it. There are a lot of really annoying enemy types, especially at the end of the game. There's one enemy type that they do like the little scanning type attack where you have to hide behind things, and you can see the little scanner beam, and you have to dodge it. And if you don't dodge it, it's basically an insta kill. So it's really bad. It's not good. But I really like the story. The gameplay is good. It's not as good though, I think, as the first one. But I still think it's a solid sequel. I think it's a solid sequel. Without question. Oh my god, that game is maybe the most terrifying game I've ever played.
The ending, man. Well, not like the epilogue ending, but the one that right before the credits cut.
Yeah.
That ending, like I didn't play the game. I watched the best friend's playthrough of it, and when it got to the end, and the thing shoots off, and then nothing happens.
Yeah.
And then I can't. One of the two just like went, oh no, and that was exactly what I was feeling at that moment.
Yeah, it's brutal. God, that game's so brutal. Man. Speaking of the two best friends, I went back and rewatched a lot of for Spooky Month. I watched a lot of their older videos, their Crapstorm of Scariness videos.
Yes.
Yeah, there were so many I still hadn't watched. I'd watched like so many, but there were still so many I just straight up had not watched yet. So I watched their one on like that really cool Indonesian game, I think it was, where like you jump through like the portal in your house and like go to all the different like spooky hauntings, which is really cool. I really like that game. It looked really cool.
Did you see that one that was I forget what it was, but it was kind of the graphics were a little like old fashioned, but it was all taking place in this house, and it seemed like the house was like more and more alive, and there was a point where Pat, like, to listen to an audio log, he jumps onto a table and backs himself into a corner to listen to the audio log.
I think I have.
I don't think I've watched that one.
It was the first one they did one of those years. I can't remember what it was, but it was a really cool looking horror game.
Yeah, I need to look that up.
Yeah,
I need to find which video that is. So it was like PS1 era graphics, because they played a lot of games.
I think so. It was like 6 or something, but it was first person.
Yeah.
The one I remember that was PS1, like really trying to go for that PS1 aesthetic, was like a mix between a mix between like Friday the 13th and Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
And you're running in third person, and there was a part where Pat's controlling it, and Matt knows what's going on, and he's like, go left. He goes left, and then he runs into a dead end, and then the word "surprise" is on the wall, and Matt goes "surprise," and then his head gets cut off by the guy behind him. It's great.
Fantastic.
It's great.
That's so good.
Oh man.
I love the two best friends. It sucks so much that they disbanded.
It sucks.
I miss them so much.
It sucks, especially since they had started the Star Trek playthrough. If they had gone back to that game while they were in their prime, man.
Yeah, they. I really need to listen to not Super Best Friend Cast, Castle Super Piece.
Yes, it's great. It's great. It's fantastic.
How long the episode usually? Like 2 hours?
They go anywhere from like the shortest ones are usually about 2.5 to 3,
Oh, wow.
and then the longest ones they frequently go to close to 5 hours,
Oh my
I
god.
would agree.
if not longer.
I don't have time for that.
I have time for that sometimes.
I do not.
Yeah.
I just finished last week's podcast today,
Yeah.
the day that the next one gets recorded.
Yeah, I need a new podcast to listen to, so that's perfect. I need to listen to that.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Besides Amnesia, besides the DLC for Doom Eternal, is there anything else? Oh, I guess Risk of Rain 2. I started playing that. I mentioned it earlier.
Yeah.
I started playing. I got it back in August whenever they first released the final patch because I was like, oh, cool, it's finally out. I heard so much about this game. I want to give it a try. Turns out, I think I said this last time, the final patch only released for PC, and it takes them like 2 months to get out the other patch. On all the other consoles.
Yep.
So they finally released the last patch on consoles,
Yep.
and I have it for PS4. So I decided to start playing it, and the balancing they cranked the difficulty up to 11 for this latest patch. So especially the final boss. Oh my god! I don't know how it happened. The first time I went up against the boss, because the last boss has 4 phases, and I beat the first 3 phases no problem, and got to the final phase before he destroys me. Because in the final phase he takes away all of your items because it's a roguelike, and you have like by this point like 500 freaking items. You're crazy. You're nuts. You're super powered. But then they take it away and they force you to fight. The more damage you deal to him, the more of your items you get back. So it's a super cool system, and unfortunately I couldn't beat him. But so the very first time I went up against him, I got to the last phase. And then every single time after that, I couldn't get past the 3rd phase because he has this awful attack, which I, by pure coincidence, managed to dodge the first time, where he sends out like a spiral of attacks where it's like kind of like a pinwheel, where he sends out like a pinwheel pattern on the ground, and it pops up for like 2 seconds, and then he slams it on the ground, and damage goes along the pinwheels, and it goes faster and faster the longer it goes, and he does it like 5 or 6 times. And the first time, by pure coincidence, I managed to dodge it every time, but every single subsequent time I fought that boss, I've gotten up to that attack, and then he slams me with it, and I die instantly. It's crazy. Of course, that's assuming I can even get to the final boss, because, like I said, they cranked the difficulty up for this one. So, like, literally, I just get destroyed, like, 1 or 2 stages before I can even get to the boss. So, I've basically just been playing that for, like, the last week or so, maybe, trying to beat the final boss. And the final stage theme. Put that one in your playlist, boys. Put that one in your playlist. The final stage theme's so good.
Alrighty.
Yeah, it's in Spanish. It's like con el tidudo. I don't know. Yeah, it's good though. Just about it. But besides playing, in terms of what I've watched in the last few weeks, I've watched a ton of Hololive.
Yes,
of course.
A ton.
As is tradition.
Yes.
Though I actually have been watching less Hololive, if you can believe it. If you can believe it. I know, it's ridiculous.
You've caught a handhold in the black hole. As you're falling down the side, you've scraped your hand along the ground, along the side, and you've caught something.
The non-existing ground.
And you've been able to just put another hand up there, and then you'll fall back in.
Yeah, always. There's no escaping it. One game I did get back into playing, I started playing more Among Us, but this time, instead of going to the Discord server to play with people who can actually talk, I just joined a bunch of random public servers.
Oh boy.
And literally all I'll do is I'll join, and as soon as a body is called or a meeting is called, I'll just type in the chat some random color and then type "saw him," and then I'll just keep typing that over and over and over again. And 99% of the time, everybody will vote for whatever color I say that I saw. And it's the most fun I've ever had with the game, probably.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll just jump in and just say color, saw him, and then everybody votes. It's so much fun. Yeah, but of course those games always go fast, because what happens is everybody will join in a pre-game lobby, and then as soon as
they die, they jump out.
It's not just as soon as they die. As soon as they get into the game and they're not imposter, they'll leave instantly.
Yeah. Or as soon as you call out the imposter.
Oh yeah.
Because I've been also playing a little bit of.
So
we'll get to that. continue along.
But yeah, literally everybody just rage quits. It's awful. So I mean, like, I can just say that, but I think like everybody's at the point where it's like, okay, we've lost half the lobby because they didn't get imposter at the beginning. Let's just do it, guys. Come on. But yeah, so that's a blast. Anyway, in terms of what I'm watching, I've just been watching a ton of YouTube, a ton of HoloLive, and then I started recently watching Truth Seekers, which is the new Amazon series with Simon Pegg, Nick Frost.
Oh yeah, that one.
Yeah, it's a lot like. Did you ever watch? Oh God, what's the name of the show? It was the BBC show. It had what's his face is the writer, Stephen Moffat. It reminded me so much of like Doctor Who. It's based on the Douglas Adams series of novels.
Douglas Adams.
It was like it's about like a detective who's like blessed by the universe or something. Like the universe constantly leads him to where he needs to go. It's actually a really interesting series. It only got 2 seasons before it got canceled though.
This was the Douglas Adams book series.
Yeah.
I will have to get on that because
Yes, it's super good. I wish I could remember. It was headed by Stephen Moffat, and somehow it was not a train wreck, which is probably why it got canceled because it was one of the few series that wasn't a total train wreck. God, I cannot remember the name. But it reminds me a lot of that one because it's like really quirky, really silly. Like serious things happen and there's a bunch of violence and stuff, but like it's like it's all treated with like a bunch of like slapstick or like it's just not treated seriously. Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. I'm like halfway through the first season because it's only 8 episodes, and it's like. It follows Nick Frost, who's a Wi-Fi installation expert at like this Wi-Fi company, and he gets a new guy shadowing him. And right as soon as the guy starts shadowing him, they start to come upon a bunch of weird paranormal happenings, which Nick Frost is like big into paranormal stuff. So like it's about them stumbling upon all these paranormal happenings and how they all connect to one another. And it's actually really good. I really, really like it. I'm going to watch more as soon as I get back on my thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a really good show. Yes.
He's watching it right now.
Yeah, I am. It's true.
On your phone.
On my phone.
Yes.
I've been watching it. They have been giving me weird looks as I've been watching it. Not that I've seen them, of course. I've been watching on my phone the whole time.
Yes.
He's somehow been able to keep a steady stream of consciousness talking while watching something. It's incredible.
Yeah.
He has mastered
Wait a second. That's not the show you're talking about. That's more HoloLive.
No, it's not. No, That's just how the show looks. That's Nick Frost.
They're all 3D anime girls?
Yes, they are. It's hard. It's weird. It is a very avant-garde move for Nick Frost. Not something you'd expect him.
They're going for that Blacklist season finale in the quarantine look.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
But I don't think I've watched like literally anything else. I do have one big development though. One massive development.
Yes.
Absolutely earth-shaking here. All right? I have gotten new internet.
Yes!
At the Groom household.
Yes!
400 megabits per second download.
Oh my gosh!
Yes.
They finally found a new install something?
Yeah, so apparently we got Spectrum. We got their fastest plan, 400 megabits. As it turns out, for like 2 years they've been available in our area, but every time we went to look them up, it showed online that they weren't available. But that's just because apparently in their system, unless somebody directly asks them if they're available in the system, they won't update their map. So they're on my map.
I figured something like that happened because something happened to us in where we used to live in Waxahachie.
Yeah.
We had an internet provider box in our backyard.
That's literally what happened.
And they kept calling, and my dad kept calling like, can we switch to your service? Because our current plan sucks. They're like, we don't have service out there. Yes, you do. You have a provider box right here in the backyard. I'm looking at no, our map says we don't. Well, your map is wrong.
Check it again.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
And they fought for like 2 years.
Yeah.
And a month after they moved to their new place,
the
whole neighborhood, they found it, and the whole neighborhood has switched over, and my dad is livid. He's like, I want a finder's fee.
He should get it. He should get it, by God.
Yes, I wish.
But yeah, so our neighbors have apparently had it for the last 2 years, because the box, like you said, has literally been sitting there. But yeah, so
I knew it.
They're on my map, literally hadn't updated since 2016. We called them. They said they hadn't updated their map since 2016. So yeah, we called them and he just said, the box is like in our neighbor's cars you are. Do you think you can check and see if we can get it? He's like, oh yeah, sure. And so he checks and he's like, oh yeah, you guys have had it for like 2 years now. I'm like, okay.
Freaking American internet companies, am I right?
Just,
right?
Isn't it fun?
You are.
Just want to throttle.
Sorry, not just American, because I've heard people complain about the exact same kind of crap in Canada. So it's not just America.
Oh god,
Just North America internet.
It's just North American.
Curse you,
internet.
North America. Curse you.
Why couldn't we be just one giant island metropolitan area like Japan?
Please. I'm going to transform us into that now.
Yes.
I'm going to make us my own
Yes.
nation with our own good Wi-Fi.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so now we have 400 megabit per second internet. I can't quite get that upstairs or just like base, because like that's like the peak. I can get like 400 if like nobody else is on the network or anything.
Yeah.
But like I can get like 50 megabytes per second down upstairs, which before I was getting like 2. So this is
an improvement.
Pretty big improvement.
This is a big improvement.
Yeah. So now I'm watching all of my HoloLive videos in 1080p, 60 frames per second.
Yeah.
You know what else this means? More Sun Sanctuary.
That's true.
Oh
my god, yes. I can finally get good connection to you.
Okay.
I've been a little distracted with the job ending and
Yeah.
plans.
Oh, I got you.
There's a service that when we get back to Salt and Sanctuary in each of our separate games, need to use a thing called Parsec.
Parsec.
Yes, it's what Wooly on his he does get into fighting games, and he's been using Parsec on it now because a lot of because you can have someone like join on it and play on your device, and a lot of times it's even better than the actual games online.
Wow, dang.
So I would assume it'd be better than Steam Play.
All right.
That's so
Yeah, we'll
bad.
have to give that a shot. I think our cat wants out.
Yes, she does. Hey.
Oh, there she goes.
Nope.
There you said
Nope.
you said she'd
Nope.
go running around, and there she goes. She's zooming.
This freaking
He's
cat.
zooming.
This stupid cat.
Besides finally getting good internet, it's literally the internet we have now is 16 times faster than what we had before. We're getting 25 megabytes per down for the whole house for like 7 people maximum, and like finally.
Oh, that's good.
I know.
It feels so good.
I've been waiting so long. And finally the day has arrived. Or rather, it arrived like last week.
Like, I wanted to bet money that someone in your neighborhood had an internet box that they didn't know about.
Yeah.
I should have bet money on it.
You
'cause
should
I
have.
knew
Should have
it.
put that
Should
money.
have.
Should have
Well,
put that
yeah,
money.
it was worse for the longest time because like people literally across the street from us were getting AT&T, like not gigabit, but like they're like 100 megabyte per second plan for years and years and years. And we called AT&T and they're like, yeah, no, we can't service you.
Yeah.
But it turns out Spectrum could. So, but yeah, I've been watching a lot of HoloLive.
Yes.
I just thought I'd mention that
Watching
again.
live
I just
Yes.
wanted to mention.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have been watching the live stream.
I sure have.
And
I didn't.
how much money have you given?
Are we talking like
Dollars?
like
US dollars?
let's
You can round it down to
let's
the...
just say perhaps I have exceeded the GDP of some countries. If
You got into currency trading so that you could give to them in yen.
yeah, that's exactly. I gave them Bitcoin. That's what I did. I gave them from my vast Bitcoin store.
You got your hands on the new AMD video cards so that you could Bitcoin mine.
That's it. But yeah, I think that just about does it for me. I don't think I've really done like anything else. I saw a spooky movie for Spooky Month, but that was about it. I think I talked about that last time. We went to go see Lights Out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I talked about that. Yeah, no, that's it.
Okay.
All right. Michelle.
Okay, let's see. Well, I have finally, after like 4 years,
God.
completed Xenoblade Chronicles X.
I can't believe it.
I
can't
have
believe it.
filled out every map segment, completed every super time. There's a bunch of like level 30 timers that I don't care about. Because I can just one-shot them.
Those
like,
don't count.
I can
Those
just
don't
run up and kick them in the shins and they're fall over at this point.
Yeah.
So I don't care. But I beat all like the level 60 plus super tyrants. Including the level 99 Telethia.
It's the dawn of a new age. I never thought I would see it done. I
Like
remember.
a weight has been lifted from my shoulders.
I remember literally last year you visited me in Houston and you were still
Yes.
playing.
I was still playing it.
I'm proud of you.
Yes,
I'm proud
that's
of
great.
you.
Yes.
That's It's such a good
Just
game. If they ever
cute.
re-release it on like the Switch or more likely a future console, now that Xenoblade's actually a known series,
You're gonna spend
I
another
would
5,000.
recommend. No, I would just recommend y'all play it. I'm not going back. I'm not. I'm never
done.
touching that. again.
But you will
You've
be
gone
our
through
textbook
rehab.
resource.
Yes, I can. Just you have questions, I will just tell you how to do it.
Cue the ending of Evangelion. Congratulations!
Yay.
Congratulations! Congratulations! Congratulations!
Thank you.
Omerito!
So, while I spent probably about a dozen hours grinding out materials
Yeah, that's nice,
in
that's
order
nice.
to be able to
Yes.
make the things I needed to complete the game, I did indeed watch some Hololive
Hey.
streams. I watched the Goblin Shark Girl play Minecraft for like 3 hours one night.
That is an accurate description of Gura.
Yeah,
I
the
mean,
the
The
most
Goblin Shark is an actual species of shark, so
Apparently
come
it
at
is.
me.
Yeah.
So come at me, Hololive.
Yeah, I think the streams of theirs I watch the most are all the collab streams. They're all so good. Because then they can all just like carry it like every second, so it never there's never
There's
any
no
downtime.
There's no downtime.
Don't you like those Among Us streams where two of the Japanese speaking ones are screaming at Amelia and she doesn't really know what they're saying.
Yes.
She's just like Pekora-san wa.
I love all of their Among Us streams. I like the one where the one VTuber tried to she tried to get away with the murder by saying she was a 300k sub YouTuber.
Yes.
Didn't work.
Oh.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So you've just been watching a ton of the live streams, or you've been watching a ton of clips, or?
Clips and live streams, mostly for the grinding. And then I completed the Xenoblade Future Connected DLC. I have not completed the actual main game quite yet.
Well, it'll get there. The main thing to grind for now is to max all the arts, or
Yeah,
at least the
it's
arts
just-
you want, so that
I
you
gotta
can.
get to level 99, max my arts, and I've already seen and the skills that I want, the skill trees.
Yeah,
And
just to get to the main thing is the last time trial is a bunch of super bosses with just lower health to make it a time trial.
So, and I've seen videos on how to grind for that, so I'm not too worried.
Gotta get those level 12 arts.
Yeah, pretty much. That's about it. I don't think it'll take near as long as Xenoblade X. I'm not worried about that at all.
Unfortunately, the Monado arts can't go to level 12.
Unfortunate.
How far along in Xenoblade Remastered are you?
I've beaten the story. I'm just
He's beaten the entire story, even the added bit that they added in.
They added it.
So next you have Xenoblade 2, and I know one person who has beaten Xenoblade 2, and that is my little brother.
Aha.
That was the first one he beat.
You're
Like,
training an addict.
what's the hour count? Perhaps.
I don't know. I'd have to ask him. I think it was about the same for Xenoblade 1, about 100 max. I think it might be a little shorter than that. But then the DLC for Xenoblade 2 is basically another game.
Yeah, fine.
Unlike like Future Connected is just a little epilogue.
It took me like 15 hours to complete.
Yeah, Torna in the Golden Country is like a whole nother game.
Oh man.
With also, I think, a slightly different battle system too.
Oh, all right, fine. I'll do it.
Yes.
I'll have to
Right.
go buy that at some point.
From what Jake has said, he likes the combat of Xenoblade 2 more, but the story he likes Xenoblade 1 more. So
All right. Yeah, the story in Xenoblade 1 is super fun.
yes,
So you should,
I haven't finished
should.
it yet. It will
Yeah,
happen.
You should.
Well, listen, Mitchell. As I've told you,
Yes.
the Melody of Memory demo on my Switch is not getting turned off until that game comes out,
Oh,
because
that's
it
not-
erases your progress when you
That's
turn
not
it
an
off.
acceptable answer.
No,
That's not acceptable.
it is acceptable to me because Kingdom
No, not
Hearts.
to me.
But Kingdom Hearts though.
Not to me.
Kingdom Hearts though.
All right,
Wait.
fine, we're moving on. Speaking of demos, you know what demo I've been playing?
What demo?
What demo?
I've been playing the Age of Calamity demo, and
Oh,
now
yeah.
I'm actually kind of excited for the game. That's actually gotten me excited
Yes.
because it is kind of fun.
What is Age of Calamity? I don't think I've heard of this.
Oh, that's the Breath of the
Oh,
Wild.
yeah.
Hyrule
Hyrule
the Wild
Warriors.
Muso.
Yes.
That's the new. That's that thing. So
New
Okay, yeah, I
Hyrule
just
Warriors, but Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild, and it has been kind of fun. So I'm
Okay,
actually
that's good. Liked it more
thinking
than
about
the first
getting
one?
that game. I might get it.
Liked it more than the first one.
Yeah. The first one has just got so massive with all the DLC and whatnot and extra stuff they released.
It is-
so hopefully this one will be a bit more contained and focused.
Hyrule Warriors is an
And I'm
amazing
gonna
game
try-
if you want to play one game for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
It'll do it for you.
I am going to try really hard not to get all completion-y about it. I try really hard, but that's not my strong suit. That's kind of...
Mitchell, our resident completionist.
Yeah.
I just keep looking at that the auto battles that are going
Oh
on.
yeah, for our audio listeners, I have my little iPad Mini over there playing the Kingdom Hearts mobile game Unchained Key and playing the Kingdom Hearts Dark Road game in there, and it just auto plays itself, and I have it on a setting where I can't die on it, or it's a specific kind of fight that I can't die on. And it's just auto battling the whole time.
It's been on since before we started recording.
It's been on all day.
It's mesmerizing.
No, that was
Usually I bring my iPad with me to work just in case I have a free period to mess around with it. But today I decided to just leave it and just let it go because I need as much BP as I can so that I can level up, because I level up not even once a week now because you need so much.
Yeah.
Wow. What else have I been doing? I've been playing a little bit of Among Us, just random lobbies.
Yeah.
That's fun, but also incredibly annoying when people just leave.
Yeah, if you want the true experience, you got to go on the Discord server. There's a Among Us Discord server. They have like 500 voice chats set up for like 500.
I have to try that
individual-
thing because it's a little annoying.
Yeah.
It's also real annoying when I'm the imposter because I'm not good. Well, one time I did manage to turn the entire lobby against themselves by just not saying a word.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like,
that's
who'd
all
you
that
see?
works. Yeah.
I think it's dark green. And then they'd forget the next round.
Listen. Talking is sus. Not talking is sus. Accusing is sus. Not accusing is sus.
Yeah.
Voting is sus. Skipping the vote is sus. Everything is sus.
You can't escape it. Yeah, it takes a long time to get like good or like halfway decent at Among Us.
Imposter?
I'm imposter especially. But like whenever I started, because I was playing so many hours a day for like 2 straight weeks before I just totally got burnt out and I couldn't play anymore. Like, because I didn't know how like tasks worked or anything like that.
Oh, yeah.
So like I would throw entire games because I would like say, like some guy would be like, yeah, I was doing this task, and I'd be like, ha, no, nobody else gets that task but me. And then it turned out like no, like everybody gets that task.
There's multiple you get
And I'd
the
be
same
like, I'm so
task.
sorry, man.
Everyone gets that task, man.
Yeah, it takes a long time to get to that game. But yeah, if you get on the Discord server, most people are understanding because there are a lot of new players on there.
All right,
Yeah.
cool. I got on it.
Constantly, people
You have
cycling
to
in.
go on now because they're understanding now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
But sooner or later, that patience will run out.
yeah.
So, and I also just restarted my Morrowind playthrough.
Yes.
I bit the bullet because I wanted that fancy modded stronghold,
Oh,
and I'm already much farther along in like 10 hours than I was in like 20 hours.
Oh, well, there you go.
That's
So,
crazy.
yeah, it's
Now
kinda
that you know how the combat works.
I know where things are mainly because a lot of the quests are just like, hey, go fight this den of thieves in east of town, east. Yeah, they're over the mountain range. Go look over there.
There's somewhere.
And it's just 20 minutes of wandering around the wilderness trying to find the objective
It's
because they
great.
don't give you a marker.
It's great.
Just,
Listen,
it is kind of fun if they actually give you like clues, like turn east here, look for this,
Yeah.
turn
Yeah.
west. But when it's just over there somewhere,
I miss games that do that though, because now you have the compass at the top of the screen that tells you exactly where to go, or you have the little mini map that you end up looking at more than the actual game.
Yeah.
Which is why when I eventually get to Witcher 3, I'll probably turn that mini map off and just have it to where like you press a button and map comes up.
Yeah. The Ghost of Tsushima is a lot like that. They do have.
I've heard really good things about Ghost of Tsushima with that.
really good thing.
Yeah, they don't have. They do have like objective markers, so you still follow that in the world, and they have like a map you can pull up. But like the way it works is they don't have any mini map. You press a button on the pad on the gamepad, and it pulls up like a stream of leaves that you have to follow towards your objective. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright. So let's see. What have I been doing in Morrowind? Well, I've already gotten more moon sugar.
Yeah, of course.
I've been working on my moon sugar addiction already.
Drug dealing.
I haven't murdered anyone for their house quite yet.
Are you working on murdering everybody in the game?
No.
Oh, dang.
No. But some things did happen. Number one, before I reset my playthrough, because in Morrowind, whenever you're in a town, you just put on auto run and you just spam jump so that you can level up your acrobatics and athletics at the same time. And I got too good at jumping, I fell through the floor. And as I spiraled into the void, I quickly paused the game and Googled how to access no-clip. And then I had to no-clip my way back up through the floor.
Whoops.
Whoopsies.
You
and
did
then,
it too good.
Yeah. And then, another time when I restarted my playthrough, one of the NPCs in a guild just mysteriously decided they no longer existed. And I'm Googling, alright, can I reset the NPCs? Can I spawn a new one? Let me make sure there's not a duplicate running around somewhere. And I spent 30 minutes troubleshooting the game. Basically hacking Morrowind to be let's get this NPC back because they let me make spells and I want that.
Have you considered a career in QA?
No. Never.
Don't.
You thought you could avoid modding the game, but Bethesda almost always force your hand.
Nope, I want to mod the game because I want more than one teleport point.
It just works.
It
just works.
Barely by a thread.
Dude, a nightmare scenario for me is if I'm walking and then I scrape my toe on a corner of a wall and then just clip through the world.
Yeah,
that's just a nightmare scenario.
Pretty much. Yeah.
I think you beat the game there on your iPhone. I'm pretty sure you beat it forever. I don't think you ever have to play it again.
Connection error has occurred.
Oh, don't worry.
Yeah.
I just hit OK and then boom, it goes back.
Hooray!
Sometimes our Wi-Fi decides to just quit for a bit.
I do know that
kind of quits for a second.
It just quits for a second,
yeah.
And then that's if it happens at the right time between me between me killing an enemy, then the app goes nope.
It's that's no good.
There's people who have modded who have versions of it running on their browser and they have an automatic clicker just clicking right where that is on the screen.
Just to make sure.
just so that they can leave it running all day.
Beautiful.
Man, don't know if I'm interested in that little bit of the mobile game. I might skip that one.
No, don't worry. It's fun. It's fine. It's really satisfying.
Well, it's going to take me 5 years to get to that point because of the actual.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because you got once you get your PS5, you got to play through Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
All of it.
I'm pretty sure I want to beat the actual series before I try and do this.
Look right there. I have that thing. The story so far. I'll just give it to you.
I just got to get the PS5.
In fact, by the time you get the PS5, I might have just broken down and bought the whole collection.
Yeah. If you do want to get the whole collection, I will chip in for it if you let me play it.
It's $40. It's already.
Then I'll give you $20. I don't care, man. I got 20 right here. I'll slap it down on the table. I don't care.
One sec. I want to judge your taste in PS4 games.
Oh boy!
All right.
So, Aaron, for our audio listeners, Aaron is now getting up and looking at my list of PS4 games. Yes, 13 Sentinels.
Sorry, keep talking. I'm just
I'll chat about Morrowind. Don't worry.
Yeah.
So then, as I snorted my 15th pound of moon sugar that day.
Yes, you going all Scarface.
Yep. It's great because since I played the game, I know how to start. The game. I know how to start this because you know that cave. You played a little bit.
Yes,
you know
I started that game and I went into the cave and I died.
Yeah, I don't die. I know how to beat them.
Oh boy!
It's simple. It's great. You make your character. You get them. You go out before you talk to the guard. There's a barrel. Go look in the barrel. There's a ring. It can heal you a little bit. So you grab that ring, and then you go out, talk to the guy, you go out, and then you immediately talk to this guy named Fargoth, who's looking for the ring. You give him the ring. But don't worry, we're going to get that ring back. So then you go into the pub, you go upstairs, there's a guy there, and he's like, oh, hey, Fargoth has a secret stash of money, and I want it. Go find it. So then you'll go outside, you go right outside town, you'll wait till nightfall, you go up into the lighthouse, and you'll keep an eye on Fargoth, and you'll find where his stash is. You go get the stash, there's money in there, a lockpick, and the ring. So congratulations, you get to keep the ring, and Fargoth likes you now all of a sudden.
Huh,
and since Fargoth likes you, he's friends with the shopkeeper, and now the shopkeeper likes you too. So you can buy things for less money. So you go to the shopkeep and you buy an ice spell. that spell works pretty good against the enemies. You don't want a fire spell, because all the enemies in the cave are Dunmer, and they're resistant to fire. So start with the fires. So start with the ice spell. If you want, you could also probably afford the Scroll of Summon Skeleton. That would help a lot.
See, when I played the game, I played for a bit, and I was like, hey, I really like this so far. And then I went into the cave, and then I rescued a guy who was in the cave. And then I got killed by the first enemy who showed up after I freed the guy. Yeah. And then I realized, oh, there was no autosave. I have to start all over again.
Nope, fair not. And if you need a little bit more money, there's a way to do that. Because if you talk to the townsfolk, they'd be like, oh, hey, our tax collector has suddenly gone missing, but no one really liked him anyway. So if you go look kind of around the outskirts of town by the shore, you'll find a dead body. So then if you go find the dead body, get the money, get the tax collecting record, and go back to the guy who you made your class with, he'll be like, oh, did you find the money? You're going to give him the money. Give him the money. Because then you'll be like, well, I'm going to put a 500 gold bounty on whoever killed the taxman, because we can't have people running around killing our tax collectors, now can we?
Can't have
so then you go find the guy who killed the tax collector, get your 500 gold pieces, and then you can be on your way with like 500-600 gold.
Bam.
Solid.
And you can beat the 3 people in the cave.
Yes.
It seems like you've optimized.
I've optimized like the first hour of the game. Because I've made like a dozen characters.
One of these days,
get into speed running it.
One of these days, we're going to be watching a GDQ stream of Morrowind, and Mitchell's going to be there.
It's going to be me. It's like, okay, so then we're going to go grab the rig. Screw Fargoth, we're not talking to him because we're just going to go straight to Dagother, and we're going to grab the guy. He's falling from the sky. We're going to grab his scrolls, and we're just going to go straight to the Death Mountain.
And right here we clip through the world so that we can get there faster.
Yeah.
It's like, and seeing as how this is it's like a
This
mod
is
enabled.
80%.
This is 80%. We're just going to enable.
Yeah.
No clip right here.
No clip. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. It's allowed in this run.
Yep.
Do a quick prop clip through this mountain, and now I'm at the end of the game.
You get into the water and you start pausing and going back and forth, pausing, and it keeps your momentum. And then when you let go of the pause button, you just swim backward all the way to the Dragon Roost Island.
To the craziest.
So I've optimized like the first hour of Morrowind, but after that, it's
anybody's guess.
yeah, it all
Every
falls
man
to
for
garbage.
himself.
I mean, it's anyone's guess anyway. It's Morrowind.
Yeah.
That game's freaking old.
So now I'm just trying to find a two-handed sword because that's the weapon I like using. Because it just
I think that's the one I used when I killed every single.
because it just
NPC
kills
in the
people
entire
so
game.
darn fast, don't it?
It do.
It just kills.
It certainly feels a lot better than missing with the dagger every single time you swing it.
Yep. You gotta keep an eye on that little green energy bar. That is your calculates pretty much everything. So let's see. Besides Morrowind, trying desperately not to fall into the VTuber hole
And failing.
and failing a lot.
Yeah.
Because I did watch a live stream of Pikami want to play Layers of Fear.
Oh my god. I've been watching a lot more of her clips. I really like her stuff. I was about to. I have her Sans fight pulled up. I want to watch that so much. I want to watch her fight Sans so much.
So
I need
hard
to
to
see
watch.
that. I need to see that.
I love watching her melt down when she plays. Like in that clip where she plays Super Mario 64, and
She
she's
has,
doing
like,
the
the
clock
tears
tower.
effect.
She's doing the clock tower. She starts yelling at Mario.
It's like, it's all fun and games until Pikami pulls out the crying avatar. And then it gets better.
Oh, it's that one game where you're jumping, always jumping up and up, and she keeps falling back down over and over and over.
Yep.
Now, if you want to see someone break down over Undertale Genocide Run, Pat's girlfriend played it on stream with Pat there, and she freaking loves Papyrus. Like freaking loves Papyrus.
Oh my god!
I am concerned about how much this girl has now become obsessed with skeletons.
She's gonna open up an interdimensional portal.
There was a part in Castle Super Beast. There was an episode where Pat was talking about a time when he had her phone open or something, and he clicked on photos, and he's like, Peach, why are there so many pictures of skeletons?
That's hilarious.
Oh boy.
Oh man. Going back and listening to our podcast episodes, I've realized that I've had like a dozen laughs.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a dozen different laughs.
Yes.
Every time it's different. I don't understand what's going on here.
It's listening to yourself record it is it's too surreal.
It's a
It is.
bizarre.
I'm like,
thing.
oh, that's what my voice sounds like. And that's not the laugh I had last time.
You've been copying Pakora's laugh.
You gotta do those Tekken motions.
Yeah.
I can't do tech emotions. I'm too tone deaf. I can't do those. That's the thing. Pakora's laugh is lost on me because I'm too tone deaf.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Same. I can't do it.
She actually has that kind of laugh that the certain Japanese characters have, or anime characters.
The villains when they're giving right before they give their speech.
Either the villains or the really pampered girl.
Yeah. Or the one character from Final Fantasy X.
Yes.
Did you get the video I sent
Which one?
of Goblin Shark Girl?
Yes.
I don't think so. Which one was that?
It was the Tidus laughing scene, but it had Gura's weird laugh.
Because I was there for Ground Zero when that clip happened. She's like, hey, what if I did the sha ha ha guys like a Picora laugh? And the chat was like, no, please don't do that. I was there for Ground Zero. I was there. And the whole chat was just like, no, please don't do this. Don't do it. No.
I need a dumb visual gag for this. You need it was the Ground Zero. I held up a copy of Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes, except it's the complete Metal Gear Solid 5, so I had to point to the back of the box where it says Ground Zeroes.
Yeah, it was a good gag.
Yes, good gag.
Yeah, super good.
Now
that's probably
that's a
it
solid
for me.
one.
Hold on. Now I got to put it back without knocking over the whole thing.
But that's about it for me. Nelson, how far did you ever get in Morrowind? Did you ever actually get to Balmora?
Nope.
No.
I didn't get past the cave.
Yeah. Well, when you get to Balmora, report to the guy they want you to report to. The first thing you see is moon sugar and a skooma pipe.
Oh.
Like he's literally a drug addict. That's his cover.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I literally just walked in and just dropped all my moon sugar on his table and be like, "Here you go, buddy."
Yeah. Here
you go, boss.
When I stopped playing Morrowind, I decided, let me just get a game that's more accessible than this, and I downloaded Skyrim.
Yeah.
And then I modded Skyrim, and then I played a bit of Skyrim, and I was like, I like this. And then I didn't play more Skyrim, even though I like it.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's
why
black hole.
Like Skyrim is just
VTubers.
like kind of junk food. It's dumb. It's oversimplified, but yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. And that's really all you need in a game.
I was surprised how much I really enjoyed playing in first person, because usually I like third person because I get to see my character that I spent time creating.
Yeah, same thing in Morrowind. Like it's just easier to like aim things.
It's easier,
especially when you're trying to steal things.
It's easier to aim and stuff, and also I just felt more immersed in the world.
Yeah, same here. Surprisingly, even though Morrowind looks like a potato.
Well, yes. But it's a good potato.
Yeah, dude. It's
and thank goodness Skyrim was like the first game where Bethesda figured out how third person was supposed to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to do that in Oblivion, it doesn't work. I've seen it tried. Not that I've played Oblivion, because I have no desire to play Oblivion.
I played it like one time after Morrowind came out because I played so much Morrowind, and I was like, "This isn't like Morrowind," and I stopped playing.
I might try and play Oblivion. I might try.
Yeah,
I've heard that the leveling system with the enemies is kind of busted and broken. Like the enemies the enemies scale with you.
Yeah.
But you can easily just get it screwed up to where they get way too powerful.
Yeah.
Wasn't that an issue in Skyrim? Like if you spend too much time leveling up, like alchemy or smithing or something.
Maybe, but I don't think it was as much of a problem.
Yeah, I don't think leveling is really a thing in Skyrim. Even I mean, there's obviously for you where you get skills and stuff.
There's skills and stuff, but it's not like.
But there's no like enemy levels or anything like that.
Yeah,
or there might be. I don't know.
I'm not sure. I haven't played enough of the game.
Enemies in Morrowind seem to level up. Like if you get to a certain point, like blighted or enemies tougher versions start showing up.
Mm-hmm.
They basically just have more health and are harder to hit.
Of all the Elder Scrolls games, Morrowind was the one that interested me the most because it's weird.
It is very weird. And you take a look outside the boat, and the first thing you see is a stilt rider. And
you're like, what the heck is that?
That's a giant bug. What?
And I'm like, wait, a giant bug, giant mushrooms? I love this. And then I look at Skyrim, and I'm like, okay, I like the Norse aspect of it, but everything else
so bog standard.
Everything else looks real bog standard. And I look at Oblivion, and it's like, this is bog standard, but even worse.
But
This is
Morrowind
fun.
is just wacky.
Like at least Skyrim has like a lot of variety in the locations and the locales.
Yeah.
It's not just mountains and snow, but Oblivion, the color palette is all the same, and it all has that early console generation, PS3 360 console generation look of everything having too much bloom.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it for me.
All right.
On
Well,
to you, Zach.
on to me.
Moving
What
on.
did I put there? Now you guys can see in person. I write down a list of things.
Oh, thanks.
I should probably
now
do
you're
that.
prepared.
Yes.
That's why we need to start.
Yes. I didn't watch a ton of stuff. I mean, there's just general YouTube stuff, like obviously HoloLive, because it keeps recommending me clips.
Yeah, because it's a Pecora hole.
And like a fool, I keep clicking on them.
It's a Pecora hole. It's a Gura hole. It's an Amelia hole. So there's that. I did end up watching a bunch of compilations of the best friends playthroughs of the Devil May Cry games. Because they're great. It's some of their best playthroughs that they ever did, and it was right at the end too. And it was Pat and Wooly. It was probably some of their best stuff. And their playthrough of DMC Devil May Cry is hilarious because that game is jacked up in all a bunch of bad ways.
All the worst ways.
Oh, it's a bad game. Well, it's not a bad game. It's just
not a good Fallout game.
Yeah, it's just not a good Fallout game. The issue is like when you compare it to the previous Devil May Cry games, it's very simplified. The combat is dumbed down a lot, and especially in the original version of the game, a lot of the combat is just really counterintuitive. Like there's certain enemies that show up. Like the way the game works is you have your regular sword attacks, and then you have your angel weapons and your demon weapons. You hold down a trigger to use one or the other. And the angel weapons are real fast, but they don't deal as much damage. The demon weapons are slow, but they deal a bunch of damage. And you can kind of combo into like in and out of weapons, and it's all about doing it as stylish as possible. And that's what Devil May Cry combat is all about. And then they have blue and red enemies later in the game where you can only damage them with angel weapons or demon weapons.
Oh, dang.
No, Dante, style like this. And it's even worse in the original version of the game because when you hit one of those enemies with a weapon that isn't an angel weapon or a demon weapon, it bounces off and it kills your style meter.
Oh, that's great.
It's lovely.
And then they put them together in the same room. So you swing through one with the angel weapon and hit the one with the that needs a demon weapon and bounce off.
That's great.
It's great. Wonderful design. Lovely. It's amazing amazing design. And then there's the story of the game. And the story of the game was dated when it came out. You
mean to tell me Emo Dante was not exactly what the fans wanted?
Emo punk Dante. Listen, it wasn't the design at first.
Yeah.
It was the smug attitude that the lead designer had over it. Where there's a quote from him where people asked him, "Hey, what do you think about fans who don't like the new Dante design?" And the quote from the article is, he took a long drag from his cigarette, paused, and said, "I don't care."
I gotta love that editorialization.
I don't think it was editorialized. It's that guy. And then there's the part in the game very early on where Dino or Dante, whatever you want to call him, Dante el exterminador de demonios.
Very good, very good.
No, there's the Spanish dub of the game is hilarious and actually pretty good.
I bet.
And there's a video out there of one of the worst scenes in the game, but it's the Spanish dub, and Dante is modded to have a big old mustache, and it's playing like old Spanish Western music in the background, like Zorro music. It's great, but
that's good.
But there's a part early on in the game where Emo Dante is walking around in this like chaotic carnival that's been destroyed and everything. Mirrors in front of him, and then this white mop out of nowhere falls on his head and falls to look exactly like Dante from Devil May Cry 3's hair. And he looks directly into the mirror, and then he pauses and he looks directly into the camera and he says, Not in a million years. Rips it off and then starts shooting at the demon.
Oh
It's
man,
terrible.
that's a great idea. I'm sure that won't anger anyone.
It's also it's also one of the most on the nose anti-capitalist stories ever. And when I say anti-capitalist, I don't mean like a criticism of capitalism. I mean like, screw you, man.
I'm here to take down the man.
I'm taking down the man.
Which is real rich coming from AAA game.
Oh yeah, yeah,
That basically changed everything to try and appeal to a wider demographic.
It's.
I'm so glad this is all canon too.
Thankfully it's not. Oh jeez, that'd be bad. But it's oh man, and it thinks it's so much smarter than it is. Mm-hmm. There's quotes from one of the actors saying that the script is kind of like almost Shakespearean. There's a scene in this game where Dante is trying to kill a succubus who is like contaminating the soft drink that they use to keep everyone docile and controlled.
Great.
And he goes up to the thing and it calls his mom a whore. And then he's like, yeah, I'm Dante. They call me the demon killer and stuff. And then it says, and then he insults her, and it says, "Fuck you."
Sounds pretty good so
far. And then he says, "Fuck you," and it says, "Fuck you."
Just like Shakespeare.
Shakespearean, almost Shakespearean.
Yeah.
Yes, just like Billy Shakespeare.
The energy from Shakespeare turning in his grave could power a city.
Only Shakespeare turning in his grave. And the best part about the Best Friends playthrough is that when you get to the end of the game has the final fight is a fight against Virgil. But Virgil has been on your side the whole time, and he's been shown to be like, Dante, I need you to do the dirty work, and I'll do the smart hacking stuff.
Yeah.
Because Virgil is not anonymous, guys. He's not anonymous.
Wow.
Definitely does not wear the V for Vendetta mask while he types at his clickety clack.
No, but in the original game he wore a fedora, and his car has a V on the front. It's got a V on the front.
Amazing. Astounding.
And then, but at the end of the game, you beat Mundus. You take down the demons, and the demon world has now leaked into the real world. Everyone can see demons, and there's this really dumb section where it's like showing like social media posts. Oh my gosh! #demons. Well, there's demons everywhere, guys. Am I the only one seeing this? It's awful. And then you look at the world and it's like we save them and the city's destroyed. and then Virgil's like, yes, the path is clear for us to rule. And then Dante's like, wait, what? And the girl character who, and let me tell you, this girl character, I have been told, is not just a prostitute with guns. She has real agency. She's a strong female character who gets kidnapped and really does nothing. And in the final fight between Dante and Virgil, just cowers beside a trash can.
That is pretty strong.
Yeah. Yes, what a strong female character. Yeah, there's also one of those Spanish dub ones with her of that scene of the fight between Virgil and Dante. And she has a mustache as well. It's great.
That's good.
Yeah, but the fight doesn't make that much sense because Virgil's been like doing the background work and Dante's been doing the front line, storm the front of the building, do all the big dirty work.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to be like, oh, this is the big final fight, but it's like, I can beat Virgil. And Dante in this universe is way better than Virgil. It's not like Devil May Cry 3 where Dante gets freaking stabbed in the stomach in the first fight with Virgil. Mm-hmm. It's not like that.
Yeah.
But the Best Friends playthrough at that, like right before that fight, Wooly figures out a way that it could have worked. And he just apropos of nothing, he accidentally fixes the story.
That's good.
And he gets really upset about it, and it's great.
So wait, do they play all of the DMC games in order?
All of them except for 2 because 2 is terrible. You should not play 2.
Which is better, DMC or Devil May Cry 2?
DMC, no doubt. I would say even the DLC for DMC Virgil's Downfall, which is a piece of crap, is better than Devil May Cry 2.
Oh my god.
Devil May Cry 2 is one of the worst games ever made, and they acted like they were going to play it. Their first episode of Devil May Cry 3 uploaded as Devil May Cry 2 first episode, and they started playing Devil May Cry 2, and they got to the first fight and just spammed guns. And just spammed guns. And spammed guns. And they won the fight. And as they're spamming guns, it fades into the title screen of Devil May Cry 3.
That's so good.
It's great. It's great. I highly, highly recommend their playthroughs and the games themselves.
Yeah, I'll watch them.
They go all the way from Devil May Cry 1, which is a game that I want to like, but it's freaking old.
Oh yeah.
And I totally get what they say. Like you can totally get into it, but for me, it's just freaking old.
Sold.
I've tried. Devil May Cry 3 holds up perfectly. Devil May Cry 4 is a flawed game, but it's still great. Devil May Cry 5 is the best action game ever made.
The high praise. My god.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I'm going to play Devil May Cry 5 whenever the definitive edition.
Special edition, yes.
Or whatever releases for the PS5.
Yes.
As soon as finally PS5 orders come back up in 3
once,
years.
Once we can get those in 10 years.
Yeah.
I hope there's going to be more for Black Friday. Though. I don't know. I'm crossing my fingers.
We'll see.
We will see. Well, not Black Friday. It'll just be Cyber Monday and nothing else.
Oh, that's true.
No one's doing Black Friday.
Yeah.
I'll have to check like Game Exchange, see if they're still doing Black Friday.
That'd be good.
That'd be good. Because that's where I get like all my movies.
Yeah.
So other than that, I haven't watched a ton. I did watch the first episode of season 2 of The Mandalorian because that came out.
I haven't watched. I've had that on the backlog for forever, and I think I'm going to watch that after Truth Seekers because I haven't started watching season 1 yet.
Yeah.
I want to like this show. I really want to like it. But it's one of those shows. When I first watched it, when it was first coming out, I was like, "This is great! I love this! Finally, something good from Disney Star Wars." Because as like Rogue One, I like Rogue One.
Yeah.
Don't like Solo.
Yeah.
The sequels are crap.
Yeah.
Like Force Awakens doesn't even hold up that well.
I enjoy Solo well enough as just like a dumb, stupid movie.
I have more issues with it than most people, but it's forgettable at the very least.
Yeah.
But not even Force Awakens holds up that well going back to it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. And Rebels, I like Rebels, but Rebels has issues. Even when it's good, it has issues. Mm-hmm. There's even an episode that was really good starting off, and then at the end of the episode, the characters do a really stupid thing because it's a stupid kids show.
Yeah, of course.
And I hate it. I hate it when that happens. I like the show, but I don't like it. Yeah. It's got some of my favorite moments in Star Wars right next to some of my least favorite moments in Star Wars. Like literally right next to each other, back to back. And but it's worth a watch if you like Clone Wars because the characters from Clone Wars, some of them come back.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
that's right.
But when Mandalorian came out, I was like, yes, finally something good from Disney Star Wars. And I kept watching it, and I was like, hold on, wait. And then I got to the last episode, and I was like, that last episode was bad. And then the more I thought about the show, the more I was like, wait, that part in that one episode didn't make sense. Wait, that other part didn't make sense. Wait, hold on. Why did he take off his helmet in front of everyone? Didn't he say it's part of his religion to never like take off his helmet in front of people? And then I think, wait a minute. When did this become part of the Mandalorian lore? Because in Clone Wars, which is also made by Dave Filoni, who also helped make the Mandalorian, they walk around without their helmets on all the time. In Rebels, they walk around with their helmets off all the time. What?
Maybe he means a different religion. He's in a totally different religion.
And when it shows his backstory when he's rescued as a baby by the Mandalorians, it shows super battle droids.
Interesting.
So, and that was a really cool scene. But what? I
don't know enough about the Star Wars lore to be annoyed by this. So I think I'll probably enjoy it more. When
maybe. Just Clone Wars was so good, and this is like making me confused because it's contradicting Clone Wars. and it's contradicting Rebels, which, again, both of those were made by Dave Filoni, and Dave Filoni worked on The Mandalorian. I'm so confused. And then this episode comes out, and I like most of it, but then there's still parts that I question. Like they fight a crate dragon, and the crate dragon starts spit on him, and the spit is acid. And then at the end of the fight, the Mandalorian's like, "All right, I'm gonna kill it. I have this. I'm gonna make it eat this bantha that has a bunch of explosives wrapped around it. Why we didn't do this earlier? Don't worry about it." And then instead of doing what I thought he was gonna do, and at the last minute dropping the bantha's leash and flying away, he lets it eat him.
Classic.
And then it blows up. Well, no, he breaks out of it with some electric thing, and then it blows up. And then he lands, and he's covered in the spit. Mm-hmm. The acid spit.
He's just doing okay. He's just chilling.
And you might think, well, I mean, he's got his armor, but his armor doesn't cover every part of him.
That was a non-acid spit.
And his cape isn't burnt either. And I'm very confused. But then at the end of the episode, there was probably Boba Fett because Boba Fett's armor showed up in the episode, and there was a guy watching him in the distance, and he turns around to the camera, and you can see it's the same actor who played Jango Fett, so it's probably Boba Fett.
That'd be rad.
That'd be cool. And apparently Ahsoka's supposed to show up in this season too, and
which would be pretty dope.
I'm worried because the show, man, I don't want it to ruin Ahsoka because Ahsoka's my favorite Star Wars character.
We'll see.
Ahsoka's so good. And I don't want... Even in Rebels, Ahsoka is amazing. And I don't want them to screw her up.
Yep.
But it's Disney, so maybe I should just accept it.
There's no escape
from
the mouse.
There's no escape. The mouse touches everything the mouse touches is ruined. Come on, computer, stop it!
Entering sleep mode.
No, Windows, stop it. I thought I turned off sleep mode on there. Yeah. Well, that is Windows, am I right?
Hey.
All right. I haven't really played a lot of games, unless you count that auto playing Kingdom Hearts in the background. Unless you count that playing a game, then I had played a ton of games.
You're playing it by proxy.
Yes. 13 Sentinels continues to be perfect.
Oh yeah, I need to pick that up.
Yes, I don't really want to say anything else because I can't really talk about that game without spoilers.
No spoilers.
That game continues to be perfect. I still haven't gone back to the actual tactical strategy part of the game because I've just been doing the story part of the game. Mm-hmm. You can split them up, but I'm getting close to the point where I can't continue the story until I go back to the tactical strategy part. So hey,
sounds a lot like me in Persona 5, where I just burned so many days on all the RP, and then I spend one day doing 90% of the story.
Yep.
or 90% of the battles.
Yep. You do one. You get through the palace in one day, and then come back the next day to steal the heart. Take your heart.
Oh,
that's how you do it.
Love that game.
That's how you do it. I love that game. I'll get back to it at some point.
Might start on Persona 4 here pretty soon.
Yeah.
On it.
Yeah. Okay. It's on Steam now.
Yep. It's in my library. I've already bought it.
Yes. Good.
Please
convince Atlas to release more games in the West because Persona 5 Scramble is apparently not going to be released in the West.
Oh, did they say that?
It hasn't been confirmed, but someone saw in a statement that it was no longer on their plans to release in the West.
Is that the Hyrule Warrior?
Yes,
version?
the Musou version, which is a canonical sequel to Persona 5.
Hey,
is it a canonical sequel to Persona 5 Royal?
Yes, it is.
Dang it.
Just do what
just do what I did for the Fire Emblem one and just watch all the cutscenes on
there you
YouTube.
Go.
Yeah. Just like Persona 4 Arena is a canonical sequel to Persona 4.
I don't want to play a fighting game.
No, Persona 4 Arena is an easy fighting game to learn. You can just press
watch the cutscenes on YouTube.
You can
I guess.
It's such a good fighting game.
I don't play fighting games.
I don't play fighting games either, but it's really good.
Do you have Persona 5?
Yes, I do have Persona 5 Arena. Or Persona 4 Arena.
All right.
I wish they would make Persona 5 Arena. Because I want to see the Persona 4 characters aged up a bit. Because the best thing about Persona 4 Arena is you see Persona 3 characters aged up. You get to see Akihiko a few years later, and he just becomes meat cake boxer man.
Oh yes.
I mean, was there
The
any
best part.
other route for him?
There was no other route, and Mitsuru becomes like the female version of that, basically. Just fur coat, leather cat suit,
Great.
and
Sounds very
and rapier.
Japanese. Very Japanese.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's great.
I can finally play Persona 4 on Steam now because
Yes, you can.
Yeah, because I can, yes, literally, but I can play it now because as it turns out, my little sister had a PC that for some reason she didn't need or anything. So my mom, like a week ago, came up to me and she's like, "Hey, Lexi had a PC and she's not going to use it or anything. So you want the PC? I have the box right here." And I was like, "Oh yeah, sure." And so now I just have a PC sitting in my
PC.
Yeah.
You know what else you can do? You can play Persona 3.
You can. You can emulate it. You can work your way backward through the Persona games, which is probably the worst way to play them because you'll go
They
back.
only get better and better.
You'll go back to Persona 4 and you'll be like,
Kind of wish I could do.
Kind of wish I could do a few things. Then you'll go back to Persona 3 and you'll be like, wait, I can't control my party members?
I can't control my party member?
What do you mean?
It's like, but I need Yukari to heal me now.
I need Mitsuru to... No, Mitsuru, stop it! Stop using Maren Karen!
I need Mitsuru to literally do anything else
except
other than use Maren
Karen.
Karen.
Oh my gosh.
Ridiculous.
Oh.
I'm going to go back to Persona 4 and be like, well, why do I have to do all of the perfect actions to get the bestest ending? I don't understand.
Oh man, that game has so many endings.
Yeah.
That game has so many endings. Golden added 2 more endings to that
Oh,
game.
boy.
God.
Oh boy, and I got all of them.
as is tradition.
Yes. Man, the culprit ending was kind of nuts.
I bet.
Yes.
I don't know what that means, but I bet it was pretty nuts.
Okay, the whole thing of Persona 4 is it's kind of like Persona's version of Part 4 of JoJo. You're in a small town and there's a serial killer. Find the serial killer, and at a certain point you have a list of all the NPCs in the game, and it's just choose who is it, and you get 3 chances.
Oh my god.
And in Golden, if you have a certain social link good, then you can get if you have the social link with that character good, you can get a special. You can get an ending where you choose the guy and you're like, hold on, let me go talk to him, and then you go talk to the person, and the person's like, what, you found out? You found out. You know I can't let you leave here, and you're like, I side with you. And then they're like, all right, here's this phone. We'll be in touch. And then the ending plays out like a normal bad ending, and then you get an extra animated cutscene at the end that's just kind of creepy.
That's crazy.
It's great. It's great. I love it. That game is great. The villain is amazing. But I didn't play that at all this week. That has nothing to do with my week. But
What did you play?
Other than 13 Sentinels, I didn't really play anything. What I have been doing is I've been reading a crap ton of Brandon Sanderson's Cosmere.
Yep.
I saw you post those photos.
Yes.
Yep.
I have now gotten through what fans have called Phase 1 of the Cosmere, which is
the Marvel universe of fantasy novels.
Yes, which is Elantris, the Mistborn trilogy, the first Mistborn Era 1, the trilogy, and Warbreaker. And I already talked about Elantris, but I did forget to mention that Elantris has probably one of the most horrifying things I've ever seen in a fantasy novel. Like, I have the book right here, so let me just read the back of the cover. The back cover. I got to get my audiobook voice going.
Yeah.
Elantris was beautiful once. It was called the City of the Gods, a place of power, radiance, and magic. Visitors say that the very stones glowed with an inner light, and that the city contained wondrous arcane marvels. At night, Elantris shone like a great silvery fire, visible even from a great distance. Yet as magnificent as Elantris had been, its inhabitants had been more so. Their hair a brilliant white, their skin an almost metallic silver. The Elantrians seemed to shine like the city itself. Legend claimed that they were immortal, or at least nearly so. Their bodies healed quickly, and they were blessed with great strength, insight, and speed. They could perform magics with a bare wave of the hand. Men visited Elantris from all across Apollon to receive Elantrian healings, food, or wisdom. They were divinities, and anyone could become one. The Shad, it was called. The transformation. It struck randomly, usually at night, during the mysterious hours when life slowed to rest. The Shad could take a beggar, craftsman, nobleman, or warrior. When it came, the fortunate person's life ended and began anew. He would discard his old mundane existence and move to Elantris. Elantris, where he could live in bliss, rule in wisdom, and be worshipped for eternity. Eternity ended 10 years ago.
It's one heck of a description.
It's great. It's great. So, main character wakes up, and he's become an Elantrian after 10 years after the fall of Elantris. And instead of being this immortal being who can do all this great stuff, he is basically a living dead person.
Oh, that's great.
And
like Dark Souls style, he's like
his
husk,
like skin turns black and splotchy, hair falls out, all that stuff. And the worst thing about it, he stubs his toe at a certain point in the first chapter.
Oh, no.
For the rest of eternity, his toe hurts like he had just stubbed it. Every single wound hurts exactly the same as when you first got it. And eventually people get so overwhelmed by the pain that they just lie down on the ground and just are pretty much brain dead.
And then eventually cars stop thinking.
It's horrifying. Yes, apparently, eventually cars stop thinking. It's horrifying. Elantris is great. It's the weakest of the ones. It's from everything I've been told, it's Brandon's weakest novel, but it was also the first one he got published, and the seventh one he had written, but it got published. He was already writing Mistborn when Elantris got picked up to be published.
Wow, dang.
And Mistborn was like novels later.
Yeah.
So the jump in quality between Elantris and Mistborn is pretty big. Mm. And Elantris is good, but Mistborn is phenomenal. I finished the Mistborn trilogy, the entire trilogy.
Yeah.
Well, Era 1.
Yeah.
Because the next Mistborn books take place, I think, 100 years after the end of the first trilogy.
We got a Legend of Korra-esque jump here.
Yes. From what I've heard, they're not as good, but they're also very different. It's instead of this big epic fantasy that starts off as a heist to steal from the emperor of the final empire who has lived for 1,000 years.
Ooh, wow.
And took over the world. Mm-hmm. It goes from that to a big epic fantasy. Fate of the world is in the balance. Instead of that, Mistborn Era 2 is Indiana Jones and Mistborn.
That's cool.
That's great.
Fun.
It's great. But the Mistborn trilogy is fantastic. It is one of my favorite fantasies. It has probably my favorite ending to a fantasy since Lord of the Rings.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
High praise.
Yes. I absolutely love it. And I get why some people don't like it. I think I can kind of see it because it does have a bit of a thing that's my one issue with Brandon Sanderson so far. Mm-hmm. It's that his endings, like, he has these big climaxes and then an ending and it's done.
Okay.
The endings are very quick. Like Elantris, it was okay, but it's like I want to see more about how these. I want to be able to visualize more where these characters are going at the end, and I don't get as much of that. There's a short story that is kind of a flashback that takes place a little after the story, and then flashes back to what was going on in this part of the climax, and then ends with the end of the flashback. But it's really inconsequential, and it was mostly written because his girlfriend at the time, who he later married, she was teaching a public school class, and one of her kids wrote a book report on Elantris, and he was like, "Hey, that's cool." And
That's so cool.
I wrote
That's
a little.
rad.
He wrote a little short story that takes place during the climax of Elantris, where the main character is named after her.
Aw.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's nice.
It's nice. It's inconsequential, but it's nice. But other than that, you don't really get anything of what's going on with the characters. The other short story that takes place in the world of Elantris takes place somewhere completely different in the world.
Yeah.
So you don't see any of the characters. And Warbreaker's great. Warbreaker is the better of the two standalone novels, and I like parts of it more than I like Mistborn. And the magic system is one of the weirdest things I've ever seen, because there's a part later on in the book where someone just lays out a almost textbook college freaking class about how the magic system works and all the different aspects of the magic system, and then the guy ends with, "Listen, there's a lot of this we don't really know because it's vague, and you just got to kind of figure it out." And a lot of people have figured stuff out, but they died, but they never told anyone about it, so the secret's lost.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. There was also a twist in the middle of that book that got me so hard that the main the character it was happening to was during the entire scene was like, "This can't be real. Wait, what's going? This has got to be a joke, right? Hold on, this can't be." And I'm like, "This has got to be a joke, right? This can't be real. What's going on? Hold on, wait."
That's so cool.
It's great. It's great. And then it got me again later on, and I should have learned my lesson, but I didn't. But Warbreaker probably has my least favorite ending of all of them, because I like the big climax and everything a lot. But the ending just kind of stops. Like you have like the problem is solved.
Yeah.
But then it stops and you get a little epilogue with two of the characters going off and doing something, and that's it. So the endings are very abrupt, but I think for Mistborn it worked because all the loose ends had been tied up by this point, and it just needed a short little epilogue to say what happened to the characters who weren't involved in the big gigantic conflict.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And the rest of it can be explained, like what happened to the world from here. Well, that's where that's where Era 2 comes in.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So yeah. I would rank the Mistborn trilogy way up at the top, then Warbreaker, then Elantris, and I think that's how most people would do it.
All right.
Makes sense.
Yes. And then after that, I went to Barnes & Noble to buy more books.
Yep.
And I bought the first book of Mistborn Era 2, and I bought The Way of Kings, the first book in the Stormlight Archive.
Oh my god.
And I will say, going through the fantasy section of Barnes and Noble is kind of interesting, because you see the authors, and then the people who have like a good amount, like the well-known authors have like a big section, like Sanderson has a big section, and Tolkien obviously has a few shelves and stuff, and then the people who have just written a ton have a few shelves. And then there's the two whole shelves of George R. R. Martin. Just two whole shelves of George R. R. Martin. And
he's the biggest thing since sliced bread.
The guy, I think, has more shelf space than Stephen King. I looked at the Stephen King shelf to check, and it's like, I think with the amount, the sheer volume of Stephen King, I think Martin still has more shelf space, because Game of Thrones was just that big.
Absolutely insane.
Yeah. Oh, I like going to bookstores, because you don't get an experience like that anywhere else, really.
Yeah.
And then you also get to find the Mistborn books in young adult fantasy only, because they are aggressively remarketing it as young adult, because young adult is just a marketing label.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they're also aggressively marketing the first book as just Mistborn, even though the title is Mistborn: The Final Empire, because the marketing people are like, "Brandon, you can't name your first book The Final Empire. That's stupid." And then Brandon's just like, "Okay."
But it's about the Final Empire.
But it's about the Final Empire. They're trying to steal from the Final Empire. And it's like, yes, Brandon, I get it. It makes sense in the story, but this is a terrible name.
But you can't put the first book and have the word final in the first book.
But now the first book is named the series name, and that's also confusing.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the first Mistborn? Are you talking about the first book? Are you talking about the first 3 books? Are you talking about the whole series? Yeah. But I have started reading The Way of Kings, the first book in the Stormlight Archive.
That is a thick book.
It is a thick book. Here, let me illustrate. This is
it on the table.
This is Elantris. Yeah. Bam. This is Mistborn. That's a pretty heavy one.
That's crazy. That is the first book of the Mistborn trilogy, and that is The Way of Kings.
Yes. Here, and I read Warbreaker online because he has it free online on his website. I'll buy a copy later, but they only have mass market paperbacks, so I'll just drop the first Mistborn Era 2 book because it's also mass market. That's about that.
Very good.
This is The Way of Kings.
A significant.
I really hope that picks up.
Yes, it does. It will pick up. This book is gigantic. This
My God.
and this is like I got this book. I think Saturday. I'm that far through.
How big is the text? How many pages we got? Pages at this level of text. I think that's longer than Les Miserables.
Yeah. Well, there's 3 so far, and the 4th one is coming out this month.
Oh my God.
No! Oh no!
The Switch games!
No,
Well, they're not my Switch games, so I don't care.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Wait a minute. Is that DLC for Splatoon?
Yeah,
Salmon Run?
Well, no, Salmon Run is there. This is the
okay.
This is the Switch cover, but there is DLC for the game.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes.
Was that a Diablo Tyson game right there?
Yes, probably.
Oh, yeah, that's Monster Hunter Ultimate.
Yeah,
I recognized it.
He hasn't played it.
Mitchell could instantly see from across the room.
I can see
He sensed it.
He sensed Monster Hunter.
It's like I just saw the Diablos out of the corner of my eye, and I just knew immediately because I've been gored in the butt by that thing.
All right, so I already explained to you like the premise of Elantris, premise of Mistborn. We're gonna
the big
bad guy won. The Dark Lord won, and he created his empire for 1,000 years. Thousand years later, the people are gonna try to steal from him.
That's great.
It's great. Warbreaker. This king has to send his daughter to be married to the god king of a enemy nation, and he decides instead of sending his favorite daughter, he's going to send his youngest daughter. And then his favorite daughter is like, hold on, I've been training my whole life for this. I'm gonna save my sister. and also at the same time there's this little pantheon of gods, and one of the gods doesn't believe in his own religion.
It's like the life of Brian.
Yes, he doesn't believe his own religion, doesn't believe he's a god. It's great.
That's amazing.
It's great. Way of Kings. I don't know what it's about.
You're like a third, not a third, but maybe like a fifth of the way through.
I have read all the way up to part 2.
Oh, that's great.
I've read 180 pages. I don't know what this book is about.
Oh boy!
Listen, when people talk about this book, they say, "Listen, you probably shouldn't start with The Way of Kings. I know it's the most popular thing that Brandon's written so far. Stormlight Archive is one of the most popular the most popular thing he's written. It's one of the biggest things in fantasy. You probably shouldn't start here because it's freaking weird, and you gotta trust Brandon." I didn't realize how true that was. I watched a video that he posted very recently, like last week, on his YouTube channel, where he's talking about where you should start with his books, and he recommends starting with the first Mistborn trilogy because it's early, but it's conventional enough and good enough that it's a good place to start. Elantris is good, but it's rough in places.
Yeah.
Warbreaker is good, but it's just generally not where people recommend you start. Mistborn is the strongest early entry.
Yeah.
And then he talks about The Way of Kings, and he's like, I've never been able to come up with a good pitch for this book. Still. It's like, there's a bit of this, but there's also a bit of this.
There's a lot of text in here. None of it relates to any of the other text.
I've been having this book running around in my head for a long time. I wrote the first draft before Elantris got published during NaNoWriMo one year. And it's
That's
like
nuts.
And boy, it's really good. It's really good, but I don't know how to sell it.
It's okay, just finish it up and sell it to us in the next podcast.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I'll probably have finished it by then and
Maybe.
moved on to the Mistborn Era 2 because that's what's next in the
Oh wait,
publication.
is that not Era 2? I thought that was Era 2.
No, Stormlight Archive is different.
Oh, that's right. That's Stormlight Archive.
Stormlight Archive, Era 2 of Mistborn.
Right.
Yes. But yeah. And then I can't wait to get to the stuff that starts connecting more to the Cosmere. But there was an interlude in between part 1 and 2 of Way of Kings that I just read, where it mentions one of the character who shows up in every novel by name, and people are looking for him. And I'm like, wait, what? Why are you looking for this guy? What did he do?
Oh no.
That's amazing.
What did he do? I want to know. Tell me. Oh my! So he shows up in every single one of these books.
Mm-hmm.
Every single one. Elantris, he's there for like a paragraph or like a few paragraphs. Mistborn, he's there for a few pages. Warbreaker, he's actually there for a whole chapter.
Ooh.
But he's like playing a storyteller at the time, so he's giving a bunch of expository information.
Yeah.
And then Hero of Ages, the third Mistborn book, comes around, and he's there, and it's my favorite time he's ever shown up because the main character is supposed to meet him because he's supposed to be an informant in a city that they're trying to do stuff with, and she finds him, but he doesn't see her, and then the book is just like, she had a very bad feeling about it, like really bad. This is bad feeling, get out, and she leaves. Doesn't even talk to him, just leaves.
Fantastic.
It's great. I love it. It's my favorite time he's shown up so far.
That's great.
I haven't even seen all the characters in Way of Kings yet. The first part only had two points of view. And one of them was just a guy being getting really depressed because life sucks. Life really, really sucks. And oh man, it's bad. I love, like, it has 2 prologues.
Oh, that's great.
Neither of them have just about anything to do with any of the chapters in part 1.
My God.
Like the prelude so far is like distant past. Mm-hmm. Like you read the prelude and then it's like 4,000 years later, the prologue happens.
Ooh.
8 years later, the first chapter happens. And the first chapter has like a little bit to do with what happens in there.
Yep.
Like it's kind of mentioned.
Don't worry, I'm sure all of it will be explained in the last page of the novel.
Yes, the last page. Oh boy.
The last sentence will explain everything from the first 2 prologues.
So I'm not going to get to Rhythm of War before it comes out later this month, but I will get there. Also, Way of Kings has by far my favorite cover of all of the books.
It's pretty rad.
It is beautiful. Cool. It is a beautiful and at this point iconic cover, and it's just gorgeous. Also, there's swords in Stormlight Archive called Shard Blades. And I figured out, and I finally read about them. I'd heard the name over and over, and I thought it was just like, oh, they're really long magic swords. And now I find out, no, they cut through literally everything except for living humans. They don't cut through them; they go right through them, and they kill their soul.
Oh okay. Rad.
Yeah, like a guy gets cut in the neck with it in the prologue, not the prelude, the prologue.
Of course.
He gets cut in the neck with a shard. A guy gets cut in the neck with a shard blade, and his eyes shrivel up and burn.
That's pretty rad.
It's dope. It's really cool. I love it. So that is going to be continuing indefinitely until I catch up with Brandon Sanderson. And honestly, I don't know if there is catching up with that man because he writes
faster than you can read.
Yeah, pretty much. It seems like it. I think he said that he writes compulsively.
Yeah.
Oh no.
That if you look at the publication order of the Cosmere, between Oathbringer and the next one, Rhythm of War, there was just 2 graphic novels for White Sand. But it's not like that. Those are the only things he writes, because he also has a bunch of young adult series that he writes.
Yep.
And he also has a kids series that he writes.
Oh, fantastic!
And he just writes a ton.
You should read the Infinity Blade novels he wrote. He literally he drew up the entire lore of the Infinity Blade universe for Chair, the developers of the games.
Wow.
Pretty good novels. Yeah. Pretty good novels.
Yes. Oh man. This guy's a madman, and I love his books. Can't wait to read more. That's about all I can say. At some point I'll get to his books in the Wheel of Time.
That'll be another 30 years.
Well, I have the first book right there.
Yep.
It's not quite as big as The Way of Kings, but it's big. It's big. The only book I have that that really compares to The Way of Kings is that Stephen King book right there, The Stand. The Stand, which you can use.
Plop it?
Plop it on the
Plop
on
that
there.
bad boy.
Yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one.
Nice spike in the audio there.
That looks lovely.
I'm hitting about 1,100 pages.
Oh, that's actually longer than The Way of Kings.
Oh.
Leave it to Stephen King and cocaine.
Yep.
He would.
Hasn't he said that that cocaine was the co-author of it?
I mean, that would explain a few
Probably.
things.
All right.
From what I've heard about it, that explains a few things.
All right, let's do it. Let's do the sex scene with the kids.
That man's a writing monster.
Underage child orgy in the sewer are 4 words that should never go together in any scenario ever.
Oh man,
That was the cocaine writing.
yes.
Hopefully that's the cocaine
I
writing.
hope that was the
Cocaine. I really hope King wasn't in a sound state of mind.
Oh boy.
That's great.
Only other thing going on. Actually, I finished reading Screwtape Letters.
Yeah. Your reread.
Yes, my reread.
Yeah.
That it's genius. It's still
Good
genius.
Very nice.
Yes. I started reading The Great Divorce as my in the morning the first period of school I read a book that isn't a fantasy novel so that I don't just get completely consumed. So I started reading The Great Divorce again, and The Great Divorce is also genius, but in a very different way. And reading it right after Screwtape is interesting because I can see this character kind of has this exact problem that he talked about in Screwtape.
Yeah,
That's
cool.
It's really cool. Only other thing going on computer.
That scoundrel.
Yes.
You can see the blip.
Yeah, you can see it. It's very entertaining. The only thing that's been going on is NaNoWriMo has started National Novel Writing Month.
Totally forgot.
I remember those from high school where I had to copy off all my math homework because I was too busy writing.
Yeah. I did some cheats the one year I did it. Oh boy. But I technically made 50,000 words.
That's part and parcel of the whole experience.
Yes. But I haven't technically started writing yet, but what I did was I just transferred the project that I'd been working on earlier this year and just put it into a Google Docs document so that I can work on it at school on my laptop when I have some free time. So I will be attempting to do that, and that'll be fun.
Yeah,
Right.
NaNoWriMo was always fun.
Yes,
It's been a while since I've done it, but
I never
is
did
rad.
Listen, man,
I never wanted to do that, and I never have, and I probably never will.
Listen, man, I have
all-consuming.
these ideas and stories in my head. I gotta get them out.
It's healthy.
Yes.
It's a coping mechanism.
It's healthy because if I don't get them out, they just kind of stew there and develop, and I'm like, I want to see this story, but it's only up here. It's not here. I need to get it from here to here. The issue is that's the issue. The trouble is it's difficult getting it from here to here.
Oh, the classic trouble.
It's really helpful in an audio podcast when I say here and here, and I'm distinguishing it by making physical motions.
Yep.
So pointing from the here to the head to the table to the...
Yes. I'm pointing in very different directions every time I say here.
It's okay. We'll just upload a VR version of this podcast
Yes.
so they can see the positioning.
You can be the microphone in the middle of the table.
That's right.
Yep.
No, and I'm just kidding. You won't be the microphone. You'll be the pop filter.
Yep. You have to see my beautiful face for the entire length of
You're beating the
podcast.
microphone. We're gonna put a blanket over you, and you won't actually be able to see anything.
Yes,
Yeah. I'll
yes,
just be darkness.
yes. I think that's it. I think that's it for me.
All right.
Right. Yeah, I think that just about covers it.
All right. Well, that is everyone. So that has been the first live recorded. Is that the term, live recorded, or is in person recorded episode of Talk the Plank?
Woo!
Woo! Woo! There'll be a bit more editing on my part this time because of people moving around in the room. I mean, a professional recording studio.
Yes. In Hollywood, we actually, it's crazy. They're recording the next season of that big show you like right next door.
Right next door. Right next
and
door.
they're getting a little rambunctious.
I love how I literally could not think of any show that's currently airing right now.
Yes.
Yeah. No, literally nothing. Yeah. Or like
the boys.
The boys. There we go.
Yes, the boys.
They're doing VO work for the boys right next door.
Yes.
We'll try to record a little bit, place it at the end of the podcast.
They're trying to fix the Buffy the Vampire Slayer Blu-ray next door.
Yep. It's not working.
Oh, did you hear about that?
I never did. No.
Oh, so the Blu-ray is terrible.
Oh no.
Like,
That's great.
It makes everything widescreen, but it was filmed in 4:8. So you'll have there are points where you see people, crew members with cameras that were cut out in 4:8, but in widescreen they're there. And there are other parts where someone was talking off camera, but the widescreen shows them and they're not talking, but the lines are still being said.
Uh-oh.
And the coloring is all wrong, and it's atrocious.
That sounds like a genuinely good time. I'd love to watch that just to see all of the like bloopers, quote unquote, in all of the shots. That would be amazing. Oh my god.
That's what someone does when they don't care.
Yeah.
That's
Oh dear.
Anyway, let's bring this to a close.
Yes.
Yep.
How do we bring it to a close? In person, it's very different.
I'll take the blanket off. How about we take the blanket off, and that'll be the end.
That's a
hear
lovely
the unrustling
noises.
Oh no, you'll be able to hear scratching noises on the blanket. Oh no! Oh no!